Everybody, welcome back. This is our segment we like to call Shootin' the
Shot.
The Shot. And today we're shooting it with Winchester or Chesterfield?
Winchester. Morewood, really. Like
Morwood. Oh,
talking
okay.
real small.
Okay.
Yeah.
Morwood native. Okay.
Good to know.
Yeah,
Morwood native. A fellow by the name of Big Country, Matt Carkner. Matt, welcome to Offside with Haas and McGuire. By the way, I'm Haas.
I'm McGuire, which I think he may know.
Yes,
he may know.
Yeah. Long time, yes.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I appreciate it. I'm humbled by being on this show. You've had some big names on here.
Just us, really.
Yeah.
So you got to get, we are intimidating, but I mean, you've thrown down with a few guys.
A few.
Yeah. So let me ask you. I'm going to start by asking this question. So you're a defenseman.
Mm-hmm.
You were a tough guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You wouldn't classify you as a goon, but you could hold your own.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now I've noticed this. Why is it there are so many defensemen / guys who are not enforced, whatever we'll call it, but why so many go into coaching after? I noticed that there's a lot.
We're locker room guys. We love it. We love to be around the guys. We love the environment. We love to compete, for one, and for me, like being in the fight, like with the guys in the locker room and trying to build a good environment, good culture.
Yeah,
that's what it's all about. So it's for me. I contemplate some other things as I was getting closer to the end, but it just this just kept calling my name. So
yeah.
For us tough guys, I guess that's it. It's just like the passion, the energy that we put into it on the ice and off the ice in the locker room. It just kind of translates into the post-hockey career.
Yeah. Now you're down in Orlando, the land of Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you're probably at Disney parks all the time.
Absolutely.
But what's it like to be in a city that it just doesn't feel like hockey?
Yeah. Well, that's 100% kind of the vibe I got when I first came down. I came down to visit and interviewed, and quite honestly, I didn't know if I wanted to go to ECHL route, but I was looking at AHL assistant jobs, and then this job came up, and I'm like, you know what? Being in control as a GM and a head coach, like that's a lot, and you're going to learn a lot. I just didn't know what the kind of hockey culture was down here.
Right.
But I got down here, and these fans are passionate. Once I got the job and I stepped onto the bench, and the energy and enthusiasm from the fans, like you could feel it in the arena. It's crazy. We get, we pack our house most nights. We get, tomorrow night we're doing Spittin' Chicklets. They're coming out for Pink Whitney.
We don't
night.
Save them on those.
Yeah, sorry, that's all right.
No, that's awesome. I've got notices a little bit.
We'll promote Spittin' Chicklets if they promote us.
They will. I'll talk to them tomorrow.
Yeah.
But anyways, what I'm saying is we get good crowds, and our
Awesome.
fans are passionate. I was a little bit caught off guard about the energy and just the feel we got on the bench. It's a great venue, the Kia Center. Used to be the Amway Center.
Yeah.
So we play out of where the Magic play. So we get all the bells and whistles, right?
Right.
And I think we curtain off the top layer, so we get about 10,000 fans.
You do?
Wow. Oh, but it's bumping. It's
10,000 fans.
Oh yeah. Well, listen, we'll probably average around 70-some hundred, but tomorrow night we'll be well over 10,000.
Yeah, with the promo.
Really?
With the promo.
Yeah, absolutely. Saturday nights we really bring in a lot of people, but that's the thing, we're owned by the Magic, so they get most Saturday nights.
Exactly.
So, but the fan base here, they're enthusiastic. They love the logo. So you see them all over the place. The youth hockey team here out of our practice facility. It's a brand here. So for me, it's kind of cool. Like not knowing a ton about it and getting into it and seeing how passionate the fans are. It was pretty cool.
Now, how long you been here?
I've been here for really a year and a half now.
Okay. So second season.
Second season as a coach.
Yeah.
It was. I'll be quite honest. It was a learning process. Just getting to know the CHL and the ins and outs of it. I had ideas and I've heard, but there's a lot of moving parts. It's and I wear many hats. I gotta do a lot of damage control. You gotta recruit a lot of players.
Yeah.
And it's never ending. It's just nonstop. So. It is really cool to be down here and not have to shovel snow.
Yeah.
But I don't get to, it's the off season's great, but during the season we're full throttle, full speed ahead with me and my coaching staff.
Yeah.
These players know you. Like, do they know of you? Do they?
They do.
When
I get a little fired up, when I get a little fired up, they're like, "Oh boy," and I hit a brick wall with this. They're like, "Oh, he's been through a few things," but no, they look me up and they talk about it once in a while, like, "Oh, we watched some videos last night." I'm like, yeah. It's like, that's how it used to be played, boys. Like, you guys are soft. No, they know a little bit, and they have a lot of respect for guys like me. My assistant coach is Ben Holmstrom. He played I think a little bit with the Flyers, and then most of his career in the AHL. But good careers.
Yeah.
Right? So these guys here in the East Coast, some of them are trying to make the NHL.
Yeah.
So they really respect us as coaches, having gone through it.
Well, I mean, there's hundreds of grads that have come from the ECHL, or previously known as East Coast Hockey League, like literally close to 400 at some point that have played at least a game at this level that have gone on to the NHL. So if anybody needs any, especially if there's still aspirations there and they're working hard, which you have to do no matter where you are, that should be encouraging enough to know that it is still a graduation system. You may not go right from here, but you certainly could go to the American Hockey League and beyond. It's been done countless times.
A number of times. And for some of the young prospects that come down and are sent down, it's such a disappointment to them, right? They're like, my life's ending. I'm like, I had Carter Verhaeghe in Bridgeport, and we sent him down. He wasn't ready for the AHL. And then he learned through the ECHL. He dominated the ECHL. He wasn't here. I think he spent half a year, but that helped with his development, his confidence, and he's doing a heck of a job now. So there'll be many, many more that kind of go through that same path. It's a good league. It is different because you have those older guys who are kind of looking to settle down and like, why not come to Orlando, meet a nice lady, and get ready for life after hockey, right? Some of them do that. It's hard to find the ones that are like have that passion for the game, and so you do have to kind of filter through some
So players. How many veterans that would you say is the ideal on your roster?
Well, we have 3 vets. It's 260 games played pro, so it's hard for some of these. They come out of college, so there's not a ton out there.
Right.
But I like to have some good leadership on the front end and the back end, and we do have a good bunch of guys that are pulling in the right direction right now. It's hard to find it. It's really hard to find, and if you can find good character leaders, it's they're worth their weight in gold.
Yeah. What about Matt? Like I was thinking, you talk about the guys maybe who are getting sent down and it could be crushing for them. And I think about you, right? Being drafted in 99.
Yeah.
You didn't get your shot till February of 2000. Was Larry Kelly your first agent?
Yep.
Yeah. So I met you at Local Heroes with Larry. Larry introduced it. The summer you got drafted by Montreal, 58th overall. And I met you that summer briefly. You were, a Winchester guy. Didn't say more at the time.
Yeah,
but Winchester guy. And so I knew you were Carkner because I knew Terry and I knew Rob. God rest his soul. Right? And so I follow your career. Well, you're in the American Hockey League. Then, year after year after year, like you could speak to these guys because then you finally get called up. Like, you only did 1 game in San Jose, but you go to Ottawa. And we know we're going to get there talking about that, but I mean, geez, you could speak to that.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's some of it is just timing, right? It's your timing. My second year pro in Cleveland, my coach said, "Hey, just keep doing what you're doing. You're going to get called up any second." Well, then I blew my knee out, and they traded a few guys, and it was bad timing, but stuck with it. It's a development league. Like the AHL is a development league. The ECHL is a good development league too. Yeah. And it's just a stepping stone to each league. So for me, it took me 8 years to kind of really settle in and become a full-time NHLer, but it takes time, especially for defensemen. Yeah. I get a lot of good young defensemen here, and they're all, you can see, they just want to be there. They want to be, an NHLer right away. I'm like, guys, it's you're gonna hate me after the end of the year, but you're gonna like me and you're gonna understand where I'm coming from because it's a process.
Yeah. And you got an assist in your very first game in San Jose. Oh, yeah. I don't know if you remember that or not.
I was a point of game for a while.
You're a point of game, man. You're a point of game. I remember that. It was the highest points per game. And Milan McCulloch got the goal. I remember that and reading it at one point. But Ottawa is really, where Chris and I would have got to really know you from. I mean, I knew of you, and as I said, I met you with Larry there briefly. But your time in Ottawa, can you speak to what it was like to come? I mean, let's be honest, that's your home city for all intent and purposes. Yeah, you're from the Rurals, but I mean, that's your home area. and now you're playing there. You had to have family there every night, obviously, I'm assuming, every home game. And then especially the nature of how you played, and yourself and Chris Neal. We're talking about some of the other guys who lent themselves to that. In fact, I'll go out on a limb and say you were right there with the Bruins, as the toughest team in the entire league in the time that you were there specifically. And just if you could tell us some of your experiences as you became an Ottawa Senator.
I'll tell you what, just trying out that year, a lot of people wouldn't really follow, but I tried out as a forward. It was Corey Clouston as the coach. He thought the best opportunity for me was to be a forward. And I remember I was playing well as a forward. I fought a little bit, all that kind of stuff. I think Alex Henry was one guy.
Yeah.
Sean Thornton was actually gracious enough to, he was already established.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, Thornton, give me one. He's like, because it's you, Carks, I will. And, we had a good fight. And that goes a long way. And that's how kind of the culture was back then. You tried to help your fellow, like we were Peterborough Pete's, that was our alumni. So he knew me through there.
But I love how you as a good friend, you'll punch someone in the face.
Yes, we'll get to that later. Once we get to know each other.
But you're sitting there now, buddy. That's the hockey culture, though.
I know it is.
You know how many people don't understand that?
Yeah.
They don't understand that. They don't understand sometimes, and the game isn't even what was like when you were really going, Matty. It isn't like right now. But it's still there. You talked about it before we started the interview. It's still part of the game.
It totally is. It totally is 100%. And it's a part of the game that I don't think will ever go away. If you lose it, it's just going to change the whole feel of the game.
Absolutely.
But for me, like getting those experiences as a forward, I felt blessed to be in training camp with Ottawa.
Yeah.
My father-in-law before I made the team, unfortunately he passed away. He was the biggest Sens fan ever.
Yeah.
So going through those games, and then one game in particular, Drew Bannister was playing on D, and he's a head coach in St. Louis right now, but he had a tough game. He had a real tough game, so Corey knew I could play D. He's like, Cars, fuck, you're playing D.
Yeah.
And I went back, and the rest is history. I made the team as a defenseman. So, that's another point I have. You got to take your opportunities as they come as young players. Like, you may not be in your ideal position, but you got to find a way to contribute in any way you can. So that was, for me, was unreal. And when I made the team, I got to call my mom and tell her, Mom, I'm sticking around this year. Yeah. My wife was already moved down in Binghamton with my kids.
No way.
Ready for the minors. She had the kids in school. I left her. It was like a haunted old house. And we got like the hairs on the ends of our necks standing on end the night before I left Ottawa, and it was just a creepy old place I left her in. And I made the team, so she was like, "Oh, well, that's great. The kids are in school. I'm stuck down here in Binghamton, and you're up in Ottawa. That's great." So,
and is your wife from Ottawa originally too?
We're from the same, like, stone's throw away from each other. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We've been together 20 years. We haven't killed each other yet. So that's it's good.
Small victories.
Thank you.
That's one of the greatest things.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: I'll bet she can take you.
Oh, she's tough. I actually fell in love with her. She was doing a self-defense course in front of the entire school, and the guy had all the big protection on. She ripped it all off and beat the crap out of the guy in front of the entire school. It was awesome. So,
right on.
So, that's how we met.
Yeah.
It was good.
Oh,
But so getting to tell my mom, who recently passed away too. Like those years of having family coming into the rink were unbelievable.
Yeah.
And it does it. Hometown guys, they get a little extra energy just having that support. And I was passionate about playing for the Sens. Like it would.
Yeah.
I would go through a brick wall for those guys.
Yeah.
And my teammates, like you talked about Chris Neal, like I had all the respect in the world for him. Like in junior, I played against him a lot. Like he just was a worker. He just worked, and that's what he did his whole career.
Yeah.
He found a way, and he tough as nails.
Oh my gosh. Very, very much so. Very tough. Speaking, I've got to just backtrack for a sec because you said junior. Because I just think of you and I think of Brett Cloutier.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. Peterborough and Kingston. I mean, everyone was like circling the calendar when you guys were going to play next. Because I mean, I know you've gotten to know him.
Yeah. No, Brett was funny because I'd be driving in to the games from Peterborough, and our Rick Alani, he was our coach. He'd turn on the radio because he'd Brett Kluche would be doing an interview. He's like, "Oh, Carkner, I'm going to take him tonight. You guys come to the rink tonight. You're going to see me take down Carkner again." And he has a blast. And I'm a pretty reserved, quiet guy, so I don't say much about that. I just take care of business. That's what I did almost every time with Brett. But good man. He was a good man for sure.
Is he?
Well, the theatrics, right? You got to have that. You got to have the razzle dazzle, get the asses in the seats.
Sure, man. Slap shots. Send the ambulance around the rink.
I'm telling you, he was awesome at that. He was a character, man. We went to a couple of those combines together. Like I think with Montreal, actually, we were there together.
Okay.
And he was a character.
Yeah.
Oh, he was a character. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just had to try to keep him out of the bar. That was the only
That tough chore there.
Yeah.
Tough chore there. But he is a beauty.
Absolutely.
He's an absolute beauty. Well, look, we got to talk about it. It's my big thing with you is that 39-second shift in 2012 Game 2 against the Rangers. But most people here would be watching us, would be familiar with us. But the way it was, Matt, as I understand it, you can jump in. You did not dress Game 1. And Brian Boyle did a speed bag on Erik Karlsson, like he did. If you're at the game, you saw it. It was apparent, and you dressed Game 2. Did you, in your mind, was your mind set that?
Oh yeah. No, whenever I saw that happen live, we were fuming in the dressing room. It was me and Zen and Konopka were watching, and we're like, oh my gosh, this can't happen. And the next game, we knew we had to, fight back into the series.
Yeah.
And I think Paul grabbed me and me and Z talked, and Paul had to sit down with me and Z, and he's like, listen, this can't happen. I'm like, I'll take care of it. That's all I said to Paul. And Z looked at me, he's like, okay, you got it? I'm like, yeah, I got it. Don't worry about it. And my plan was just to challenge Boyle, right?
Yeah.
And just make sure that he knew he's not going to push anyone around.
Yeah.
And when you get it, like, I'm the same way. When I come in between periods as a coach, I'll come in with a game plan, what I'm going to do. But then when something happens in the room and I see someone with, not the right demeanor or something, my emotions get going and I get fired up. So
good.
Off the face-off, I went to Boyle. I'm like, I'm coming after you. Like, be ready. Protect yourself.
Yeah.
And I gave him a shot off the face-off, and then I went back to my position.
Yeah.
Play happened. I forget. I think he hit Zach Smith.
Yeah,
and
he did.
I came in and I just
down in the corner.
Yeah,
down in the corner. But he tried to back away. Like he tried not to take the fight. Like, come on, buddy.
I know, and that's the thing. I gave him fair warning. I'm like, you're 6'7".
I know. Come on.
260 pounds.
Yeah.
Like, just hold on at least. So I was infuriated, and so I just did what I did.
Yeah.
It was a melee and all that other stuff, and I wanted to inflict some damage. Not gonna lie to you, I really did. But my teammates jumped in. It was a big pile.
Yeah.
And then at the aftermath, when I got the 5-minute major, I was like, oh boy, I hope the boys will rally around me. And oh boy, did they ever! They did a hell of a job. And,
they did.
Like Fish and Nealer and Alfie, all those guys, like they got the job done, killed off the penalty, and we won the game.
Yeah.
And the best thing ever was, I was a little bit nervous about what Paul would have thought of that because he never told me anything what to do. I just did it.
Yeah.
Right. And he just came in and he said that was absolutely outstanding and gave me the fist pump, and I was thrilled because all you want to do is help your team.
Yeah.
Right? And sometimes if that would have went the other way, which I don't think it would have, usually when
always a risk.
There is a risk, but you got to take the chance. So I thought it was the right thing to do at the right time, and the rest is history.
Yeah. Well, it's 39 seconds is what it took, and he got kicked out of the game. Got a 1-game suspension.
Yeah.
And
I got 2 games.
Oh, did you get a 2-game?
I got 2-gamer. Yeah.
You got 2 game. Okay.
Yeah, I got 2 games. My debate was exactly that. Like, he could have protected himself.
Absolutely.
And he could have grabbed himself, and but it was 2 games, and what people don't know is I could barely walk up and down the ramp of the MSG at that point. So 2 games, my knee was mangled.
Oh yeah.
And I was fighting through that. So 39 seconds was great.
Yes, my work here is done.
Yeah.
Well, we got, and I mean, that's all well and good. We got the pugilistic side mostly out of the way, but I mean, you also jump in the Ottawa Senator record books for, of all things, scoring a goal, triple overtime.
Yeah.
God, could you just explain that one to me? It's just the game's going on. I don't know what type of ice time you were getting there in OT. I can't really recall, but can you tell us?
Yeah. Well, that game was, geez, we we were well matched up against that team, and I think looking back at it, that's the biggest regret, not getting past the first round. Because I think if we got past the first round in any one of those series, who knows what happens, right? And it was a hard fought series. That game we were down. We're trying to fight back in the series, and we get to overtime. And for me, like what you probably don't know is I had more chances than I had probably all year to score goals in those 3 overtimes.
Wow.
I was up on the rush. I was joining the rush. I was just playing more offensive than anyone would ever expect.
Yeah.
And I couldn't score. I'm like, oh my gosh, if I'm not going to score today, like it's never going to happen.
Yeah.
So just happened to be, triple OT. Guys are in, like getting IVs, trying to hydrate. It was just, terrible. I think Eric Carlson played 46 minutes that game. I was probably around 30.
Right.
That game for me is crazy. Like on a regular night, I think during that year I was probably playing 20 would be my max. But we were just exhausted. Everyone was exhausted. So we hopped over the boards, and I looked at I think it was Sutton, and I'm like, I don't know.
Oh, big Sutton.
I don't know if we can keep going here.
Yeah.
And luckily enough, I was on the recipient end of a pass from Alfie, and I just closed my eyes and shot. Hit Matt Cook in the ass and went in the net, and I was happy. I was happy, very happy. It took me a while to register until everyone came to me and started cheering, But listen, that's what I tell guys. You never know when your moment's going to come, and for me, it was a great moment for me. I was, I always look at we should have won that series. It bugs me when people talk about the series because I scored a triple OT. Well, that's great.
Exactly.
But we didn't win the cup. Let's win the cup. But no, I'm forever grateful for that opportunity, and it doesn't happen a lot, right? So I'm going to enjoy it.
Yeah, well, it's not very many scored in triple OT ever, let alone from the Ottawa Senators' perspective. Yeah. So you jump in the books in a couple of different ways there, man. It's absolutely fantastic. You go to the Islanders, and nobody wanted to see you go here. That was when I say here, we're in Orlando right now, but you know what I mean, from Ottawa.
Yeah.
And nobody wanted to see you go. So many people were upset. But I'm going to circle back to the Condors.
Yeah.
But before that, tell us about the transition to the island. And
listen, that was a bittersweet one because Brian Murray, God rest his soul, he was open and honest with me, and he only wanted to do a year deal, and I was in the AHL for years and years and years, and this is the only time I was a free agent, and I really just wanted a 2-year deal. I wasn't looking for a ton of money. Just wanted a 2-year deal, and he couldn't commit to it. So we hit the open market. I got a 3-year deal for way more than I ever would have expected.
It was a great contract.
Yeah, for me, that's never going to get that ever again in my life. Yeah. So it was bittersweet, because I respected Paul, and I respected, the team, and I had multiple talks with Brian. Larry at the time was saying, don't talk to Brian, and then it got a little hairy. I'm like, listen, I'm just going to talk to Brian and figure this out, because I didn't want any stigma there, because I respected everything they did for me in Ottawa. But going to the island was a transition, definitely. But I got to know Gar Snow and some of the guys on the team fairly quickly, like Eric Bolton, what a beauty he is, and we got along great when we got together there. We fought each other a couple times in Ottawa, and he says he got the better of me on one, but I'm like, because the first one I knocked you out, right? But no, we got along great. My career, my 3 years there, my first year was cut in half because of the lockout. And then we got back in. We made playoffs first time in a long time, and it was a real cool environment. We lost again in the first round, but that Coliseum was rocking. They have a culture there that is incredible.
Well, you can see how they were fueled still from a couple generations before.
I think the tickets were. We get tickets for like $13 when I was playing there.
Really?
It was great. Like some nights it was dead, but as we went on in the season, we made playoffs. That place was rocking. The Coliseum was crazy.
Wow.
And now UBS. I haven't been there yet, but they've got such a great following. Fans are passionate. Obviously, history galore there. The people you get to know Clark Gillies, you get to know Trotz, you get to know all these guys. Billy Smith. We had some alumni weekends. And, oh boy,
they're great guys.
They told stories oh my gosh, and Clark Kelly's one of the best human beings
I know.
on the planet.
Just
So
devastating
sad.
losing
Yeah.
him. Boss, I
Yeah.
mean, and Denny Potvin's brother Jean
Yeah.
was an Islander as well. They all went within a few months of each other.
It's freaking sad.
It's goes, man. You got to enjoy the ride, man.
Yeah, no, and I was blessed. I didn't have a great personal career in the island, but I loved my time there. They brought me right in with open arms, and part of the alumni, part of the staff post hockey.
Great.
That's how I got into
That joined
coaching.
into Bridgeport, right?
Yeah.
Transition
I
right
talked
there.
to Snowy. I had a couple of beers with him at sushi restaurant. He's like, "What do you want for your coaching contract?" I'm like, "Give me 2 years as a player coach, and then we'll get into it." And he was great with that, and it helped me ease into the post hockey career. But the people there, I have the utmost respect for, and good time there. 2 of the 3 years were in playoffs. And then I got into coaching right after.
So let me ask you this, because I, as a Bruins fan, but a Sens fan, right? A local, I look at you and I associate you with a Sens jersey, right? And you've spent as much time in a Islander jersey, right? If someone says, "Okay, we're having an alumni game, Islanders against the Senators," where do you lace up?
I've got to go with the Sens. Unfortunately, for the Isles fans, I'm sure they'd really be heartbroken because they don't have a lot of players to cheer for. But no, I definitely that's where my home is, and I had my best years there. I'm not a fool. There were some great moments in Ottawa and great people, and that's where all my family and friends are. So
wow,
sure.
there you have it, folks. You know what? Matt Carkner doesn't like New York.
Yeah, exactly. yeah.
I'm just shit disturbing. So you have more questions? I'm
Yes,
sure.
just a few.
Yeah, please.
Just a few. I want to get if you can talk about the Condors and your involvement with them, and I know others have stepped up in after you left, but what gave you the impetus to do that?
I don't know that obviously my upbringing, right?
Yeah.
My family, you're a product of your environment. My dad and mother, they always taught me to give back to the community. So whenever I got a little bit of a platform, I always tried to give back, whether it was Toys for Tots. We did Cark's Christmas, where we work with big brothers and big sisters, give kids what they need and what they would want as well. Through the years, I just given back. So when I got to Ottawa, I'm relatively a new player, and I just wanted to get involved with the community in some way because that's my hometown, right? So I met Jim Perkins through my agent Larry Kelly.
Okay.
And we had coffee and we hit it off. And he told me about their program. They had about 27 kids who they worked with special needs hockey, and it was something new, and they're trying to start up. And I'm like, I'll get behind that. That's pretty awesome. So my first skate, I was hooked. The kids were amazing. They were so passionate because before that they weren't able to get on the ice. They were just able to watch their siblings play, and why can't I play? Well, Jim provided them that opportunity, and I'll tell you what, every time on the ice they were winning the Stanley Cup. It was incredible. It was incredible.
Some of the videos of it is pretty amazing.
Oh, that's awesome.
I went out the one time. I don't know if you remember or not. They asked me. They called me, asked me to go out, and I went out, did a little something. But I mean, your involvement, and then it's continued.
Oh yeah.
So it's kudos, man.
Oh yeah. Well, Turris and then Boro, who I just saw this last.
There's another beauty right there.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, he's working with the Nashville now.
Right.
And I met him. They were doing the rookie tournament down here in Estero, Florida. So I ran into all those guys, and man, they all are passionate about the Condors still, and they give back as much as they can. I don't get to do as much as I used to because I've been down here in Florida, but I pipe up here and there and make sure I keep tabs on the kids and Jim and what they're doing. So they're doing incredible things. I think the team when I started was 27 or so kids. Last time I heard, they have waiting lists of 200 kids trying to get involved, really? And they have 3 teams
well, because no one ever would have thought
that
there'd be an opportunity for these kids, and because you jumped in, they're already trying to get the program going. Someone like you and like you said, Tours, Boro, these guys that came along after. It's Brady right now, or who it is, but it's I
don't know who's involved right now. I got to talk to.
It's somebody though, because I remember last year they came back from a game or something. They went right to the Condors thing, but can't exactly remember who that was. But anyways, it's just fantastic stuff. You're head coach in Bridgeport. Brent
Thompson.
Thompson. Did you played against him? Did you not?
I did. Yeah. Hardest cross checker you'll ever meet.
He's got a rep in the game.
Yeah. No, I knew of him and Rocky Thompson. They were both on Hershey Bears.
Right.
So the first time I was a rookie, I went and played them. I'm like, who are these Thompson guys? Like, oh yeah, watch out. So I challenged Brent.
Yeah.
And he cross-checked me as hard as he could 5 times in my arm, and I couldn't lift my arm. And he's like, "You still want to go?" I'm like, "No, I'm good." Oh. But no, he was my head coach as a player. He was my assistant coach as a player with the Islanders. And when I came down to Bridgeport, he was my head coach, and then I was his assistant coach for a little while there. And now he's in Anaheim with Cronin, who it's. They got their work cut out for them, but it's a young, talented group they get to work with, and I'm just happy for him to get back to the NHL.
You guys both won the Yannick Dupree.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's weird. Tough guys.
Yeah,
we're good people.
Good community guys. Goes back to what Chris said.
There we go,
a few minutes ago. It's funny how it works.
Yeah,
I know. That's true, man. Whether you get into coaching or the tough guys get involved in community events and.
Well, you know what?
Here's won a community award, and Brent Thompson won a community. It was the exact same one.
As a general rule, I found that the tough guys are generally not the assholes.
No.
That's good. Good to hear.
No,
yeah,
there's a few.
Are there?
Yeah.
Really
well, Donald Brashear would probably be at the top of that list. I don't know. Just not want to tell you any names out of school. You fought him too. Actually, it was your first regular season fight ever.
That's right. Yeah. Luke Richardson actually talked to me about fighting him. Gave me a few tips. So
did he?
That was good. Yeah. Helped me out a little bit.
Brash the lefty.
Yeah. Well, he just gets you in. And
he gets in. He goes to.
So my first one, it's a little bit of Secret Service training. We got to do with the Sens too, but I just palmed him right in the face until he was stretched right out, and then I got him with a couple good ones, and he went down. So it was helpful. Luke helped me.
Luke. Look at Luke coming through.
It's coach, right?
Coaching, hey? It's all about coaching. Ottawa guy taking care of an Ottawa guy.
Absolutely.
There you go. I was wondering about Brent because I remember hearing about him in the American Hockey League, and he had a rep, and said, well, Matty maybe must have gone him, you just missed Jerry Fleming, I think, and some of those guys, but I don't want to belabor the point, but you're just starting your first year pro as Bob Probert's retiring out of the NHL, and I get asked this all the time, and now you played the role, you played 250 games in the NHL, 15 years pro, and playoffs, NHL, everything else, the Brian Boyle thing and stuff, but so would a guy like you, would you look back and even though you didn't get a chance to play against him or certainly fight him, but does he hold a certain regard for you in terms of his reputation and what he did for the role, I think, too, right?
Yeah, no, 100%. Growing up, I was a Red Wings fan because I couldn't stand, Montreal and Toronto, I don't know. And when the Sens weren't around when I was young, so I followed Detroit because of Stevie Y, and then obviously you see Proby out there, and you're like, oh boy, this guy's this guy knows what he's doing, and produced, and and had that respect, and could he'd go through a brick wall, but he was one of those guys that you follow, and that I respected. They don't make them like that anymore. No, they don't. And it's such a sad story, to hear him go, but. Man, when he played, he was all in.
Yeah.
There's no toe dipping with him. That's for sure.
No. And also, Matt, as we wind down here, I've had the good pleasure to meet your dad.
Yeah.
And I know he's as we're taping this here, he's coming in tomorrow night, which is awesome. That car rally, we did a car rally. Charity car rally. I won't go into all the details, but anyways, let's just say it was in the rurals. We kind of acted like we were in the rurals, which is right up my alley too, Chris. As you know,
I had no idea.
I know, shocker there. Yeah. But Winchester, I know you say Morewood, but Winchester. I don't notice as well. Like you fought Max Weger. He played Junior B for the Winchester Hawks. You're fighting a guy who played for the Hawks, for God's sake. But I mean, just maybe speak to Morewood and Winchester and what those communities meant for you growing up.
Oh yeah, well, honestly, like I was from Morewood, like originally, so Winchester was a big town to me.
Yeah.
So I was going through public school. I had 7 kids in my class, so we knew everyone. My dad was a big community guy, so he started his business from the ground up, and we were kind of integrated into the community. But everyone supports each other. Everyone follows each other, their careers, where they're going, whether it's sports or otherwise.
Yeah.
But for me, like I had a tremendous amount of respect and support from everyone in the community. And when I came back from whether it's junior or pro, just everyone just loves to talk and sit and tell stories and have a cold one here and there, even in the car rallies.
Yes,
the
car rallies.
roads, especially Mr. D, yeah.
Especially angling with Mr. D.
Yeah, but no, they're all good people, good salt of the earth people, and I haven't been back enough, but when I do go back, it's everyone's very very happy to sit and have a good conversation, and just like you said, the car ride, like the support for that was tremendous.
Unreal.
I think after we did it 3 years, and I think we raised over $300,000 for the hospital. That's pretty outstanding for a small community.
And Terry Carkner was there.
Yeah.
So you guys are what, third cousins or something?
We're like
or?
third cousins. Yeah, I don't know. We had the same.
Go
Last
go
name
back
anyway.
up through.
Actually, it's through it's through Brian Helmer is actually closer related to Terry.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And me and Brian are cousins and
Right.
brother-in-laws. Yeah.
And cousins and brothers.
Yeah. Watch out. It's
Yeah.
small town.
Okay, you know what? We're gonna stop this right here. We get to the ancestry DNA stuff here.
Yeah.
Turns out that so I've got
Two cousins married two sisters.
That's
okay?
right.
There's no relation.
You know what? I know.
Just
And you know
relax.
what? I get that because I have the same thing in my
Okay,
family.
there you go.
There you
same
go.
stuff.
There you go.
Small towns.
Small towns. Can't beat them.
Exactly.
Can't beat them.
So you're not only a coach now, you're a dad
Yeah.
/ trying to, you don't want to coach your kid, right? But you want to mentor him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So tell me what it's like having a kid, because my understanding is your son's a prospect,
Yeah.
right? Well, no, don't be fucking.
It's
like,
okay. It's okay.
Oh, I'm gonna be nonchalant about it. You know what I mean? If you're gonna, be proud. And you say,
No,
yeah,
I am.
you know what?
is. He
Both
is.
my boys are doing the best they can with what they got.
Yeah.
And that's all you can ask for is to compete. The passion's there. The skill and all that is something we work on all the time.
Yeah.
But for me as a dad, I'm always happy, but it is hard to separate the coach from the dad.
Yeah.
And they will give me cues because I was on the bench for my son. He was a mid-Fairfield player. We went to the Nationals a few years ago, and I got to coach because I was off working with. I was let go by the Islanders, and it was kind of in between. Best time of my life, coaching my kid and seeing him develop. But we built a kind of a dialogue. I found if I was really hard on him, he'd start playing better. So
Wow.
It's a lot of fathers find that.
Oh yeah, but then the
Wow.
problem is after a while that wore off,
Yeah.
and then I got the look. So
Yeah.
we figured each other out, and that's all it is just figuring out when to draw the line. I let him have some time after the game, and I usually only give him like one kind of tip. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't want to overcoach the kid. It's up to him. He's got to figure it out. If he doesn't want it, he's not going to take it anywhere.
Yeah.
That's right.
So I can only help him out so much. And if he tries to play like me, he's probably not going very far because he's got to know how to skate and how to handle a puck.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so it's a new game. It's fast. They're both doing the best they can.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, it's good though.
yeah.
You're gonna be happy about that.
Oh, absolutely. No,
Yeah.
there's nothing better than going on the ice with my boys. They come here
No.
and they skate with this team,
Yeah.
and they fit in. They're
Yeah.
they're good players. So
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. To
Well,
see.
you coached
Oh,
your
that's
son.
good.
I coached my son. I
absolutely.
mean, was it not the best? It was the best.
You know
Yeah.
what?
It was the absolute
I
best.
have to admit, it was good times, and
Yeah.
I always had my challenge was always. I didn't say he would say to me, Dad, you got to get me to do this, but you got to tell me more, and I was always like, you got to,
Figure
I
it
can't, I can't, so I don't know. What did I fuck up a lot? Absolutely, right?
Yeah.
Should I done this, more of that, less of this? Yeah, of course, but you know what? When when your kid goes out and he scores a goal and he comes back with that smile,
Yeah.
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 like
Yeah.
you can't
That's
buy
the
that. Like
best
that,
side
you know what I
can.
mean? You can't buy that kind of pride.
Just with teammates, what hockey instills, everything that hockey instills.
Yeah.
You just backing each other up. And
Yeah.
and winning as a team, losing as a team. You learn so much from losing too.
Absolutely.
But it's oh God, I 13 years and I loved every second of it.
Oh yeah,
Every
I wish I
single
could have
second
done
of
it longer. But that's what we do. Like our identity videos we do here with the Solar Bears. It's not about the highlights. It's about pointing, like being proud of your teammate for making that play. Guys
Yeah.
sticking up for each other,
There you
blocking
go.
shots. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's what it's all about, being a good teammate. So for my kids to to see them kind of doing that, and
Yeah.
they're trying to pull in the right direction character-wise, that makes me happy, more happy than anything.
So let me ask you this question. You spent some time in the A, spent some time in the NHL. There's got to be one or two memorable stories from the road. And you know what? We can change the names to protect the identities.
Well, I don't know if I've already told this. I don't know if I want to let this cat out of the bag. Anyways, Neeler's a big prankster, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. Well, anyways, Neeler, you're not watching this, I hope. But there was one night where we get off the plane, we get in the bus, and we go to the hotel. I was the first one there, and they always have the keys laid out for us. In each pamphlet, there's 2 keys. So I took one of Neeler's keys and just left his in. So he thought, he just has his key, goes to his room. So I waited. We're gonna go meet for dinner, and I waited for him to leave, and I got in his room, obviously, and yeah, his mattress was in his bathroom. All the light bulbs were taken out. I had the closet door wedged, and then I put a full bucket of water on top of the closet.
No way.
On the outside of the door, I put toothpaste. So my thought was, he's gonna open the door. He's gonna be like, "What the hell is this?" Walk into the closet door, the water falls down. I had it planned out real well. So then, it happens. Days go on, and he's quiet. He's quiet. Like he's pissed off in the dressing room, and I know why, but no one else knows why, because he gets everyone. No one gets Chris. And he pulled me aside the one day. He's like, "Carks, did you do my room?" And he looks mad. I'm like, "No, sir. No, sir." So he's been trying to figure that one out for quite a while, and I'm confessing. Yeah. It was
Wait a minute.
It was me.
Yeah.
It was me.
This is
breaking news.
Breaking news.
You mean to this day he still doesn't know?
I don't think he knows it was me. No.
Oh,
he might have his suspicions, but he was still
Because he
looking
asked you
after
and you denied it.
I denied
which is
it.
a way to do it.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, I gotta
Denial
live
is
with it.
not just a river in Egypt.
Absolutely.
Right.
And he went around, and I could tell he was fishing for it. But that was the one time I got him.
Oh,
because
that's awesome.
He would do some good ones, man. He was
like
really,
what? Like tell one of his.
Well, he would get a jack under your car and lift it up so the wheels are off that much. So when you go to put it in reverse, zzz, your car doesn't go anywhere. He'd sew your pant pocket shut with all your crap in it, right? Your keys and all that. I think he even glued shoes to the floor one time.
Well,
He does all
I'm
kinds
actually
of stuff.
impressed
Oh
that Chris
my
Neal
God.
sews.
Yeah, no. He probably had someone. He might
Probably
have
got a trainer.
He probably had a trainer. Do it.
One of the trainers, yeah.
Yeah, but no, he was full of good ones.
Oh,
He was, and that's just I'm sure a small list of what he did for sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Good
yeah.
question.
Yeah,
So you guys
good,
are
buddy.
really mature, is what you're saying.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Hey, man.
That, and you haven't even. I'm sure you heard of stupid money. Guys would.
With the string.
Yeah, well, Eric Bolton in Long Island. They went to Morton's, and they have these huge baked potatoes on display.
Yeah.
Well, he ate his full meal, a full ribeye meal, and then I guess Kolchuk said, "Hey, Bolts, how much for you to eat that potato raw?" And they put up money, "Here, you moron, eat this, and if you finish it, we'll give you all this money." So he ate probably a 5-pound raw baked potato for money, for entertainment. This is what these morons do. So are we really that mature, players? But you gotta have fun, right? When you're
Well, this is the
Gotta
thing.
have
it's-
you gotta unwind, and it's stupid stuff like that kind of
Yeah.
brings you back to it for sure.
Well, okay. So fine. Are you done? Are you finished? Are you
I
through?
think I'm just about
Okay.
done, yeah.
So we have a question that we've been asking everybody, and you seem like you're kind of you're a man about town, right? You're going up. So when you go out on Saturday night, non-game night, to karaoke,
Oh yeah.
what's the go-to song?
Oh jeez. Well, this is for my. Oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank. But Dolly Parton and
Kenny Rogers,
Kenny
Islands in the
yes,
Stream.
Islands in the Stream.
Yeah?
Me and my sister-in-law Pam.
Yes.
That's our go-to.
Yeah?
So I do it with Helmers all the time. We
Okay.
do karaoke. So that's the one song she always is I don't know why, but she picks me and I'm Kenny. She's Dolly. We do
There
a
you
great
go.
job.
There you
Great
go.
job,
There you
know?
go.
You know what? I got to
Great
tell you something. Even though you were going blank, you were the best. You've been the best answer so far.
Oh, thank you.
Not only did you know the artist, you know this. It's just I'm
Okay,
telling you.
I appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Can you
Thank
do a few bars?
I could, but this
I can
nose
drink in a
doesn't
few
tune
bars.
very well, right? We have to have a lot of background noise and all that.
Well, I can tell you one thing. This nose has been tuned a few times. My mouth gets me into that trouble.
Yeah. I'll take it.
Well, listen, this has been absolutely fantastic. I got to thank you. Most appreciated.
Thanks,
Mark.
Thank you.
Very much
Thank you.
appreciated, buddy.
This has been Offside with Haas McGuire. I'm Haas.
I'm McGuire.
That's Carkner.
G'day.